You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real as Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. You had questions on the floor of the United States Senate for Trump's lawyers as well as House Democrats who are leading the impeachment trial. Was very interesting about what we heard today. First of all, we heard some of the most unbelievable, shocking, crazy, outlandish legal theories. And one of them, of course, was Alan Dershowitz. And the one that really just stood out the most was Alan Dershowitz literally saying that whatever the president wants to do, if he does it in the national interest of him getting reelected, it's perfectly legal.
No, he didn't say that.
Oh, he did?
He could not have said that.
Watch this.
He could not have said that.
The privilege of attending the rolling out of a peace plan by the President of the United States regarding the Israel-Palestine conflict. And I offered you a hypothetical the other day. What if a Democratic president were to be elected and Congress were to authorize much money to either Israel or the Palestinians, and the Democratic president were to say to Israel, no, I'm going to withhold this money unless you stop all settlement growth, or to the Palestinians, I will withhold the money Congress authorized to you unless you stop paying terrorists. And the president said, quid pro quo. If you don't do it, you don't get the money. If you do it, you get the money. There's no one in this chamber that would regard that as in any way unlawful. The only thing that would make a quid pro quo unlawful is if the quo were in some way illegal. Now, we talked about motive. There are three possible motives that a political figure can have. One, a motive in the public interest, and the Israel argument would be in the public interest. The second is in his own political interest, and the third, which hasn't been mentioned, would be in his own financial interest, his own pure financial interest, just putting money in the bank. I want to focus on the second one for just one moment. Every public official that I know believes that his election is in the public interest. And mostly you're right. Your election is in the public interest. And if a president does something which he believes will help him get elected in the public interest, that cannot be the kind of quid pro quo that results in impeachment.
First of all, let's just understand. 1992, President George H.W. Bush loses re-election. He withholds about $3 billion to go to Israel, saying, do not continue with your settlements. So that actually happened. But to listen to him say that, oh, just as long as the president does it, and if he does something to help his own election efforts because he considers his election in the national interest, it's all good.
Definitely poor choice of words. And
poor choice of theory.
And
poor choice of logic.
I am not a legal scholar.
Hell, I'm not either.
It's definitely poor choice of words. But, you know, I mean, poor choice of words.
No, it's not a poor choice of words.
It is.
This is one of Donald Trump's lawyers advancing a theory that as long as the president's, what he's saying is that the president, Donald Trump, can do whatever he wants as long as he labels it in the national interest. So therefore, his re-election is in the national interest. That is the most illogical thing I have ever heard on the floor of the United States Senate by a so-called constitutional scholar.
I want to say this. President Donald Trump can do whatever he wants when it's in the interest of national security and his national interest.
That's even false.
He can do
no.
If it's
no, actually, he can't.
If it's going to protect national security, if it's going to protect the country as a whole.
No, actually, that's simply also not true.
So,
the President of the United States is not a king. He simply cannot make whatever decision he wants. Now, he could try to cloak it in terms of this is national security, but the President of the United States does not have the right. And please show me anywhere in the Constitution that he can do, you said, whatever he wants. The President of the United States cannot even on his own declare war on a country.
Correct.
So that right there refutes what you just said. Because if he says this war is in the national interest, he can't do that.
Okay. So
okay, you're right, and I'm wrong.
I'm going to give you that one. That was a poor choice. That was my
your own poor choice of words.
So, but I would say this.
Y'all got a poor choice of words.
But I will say this. I will say this. When it comes to protecting national security and protecting the country, I'm right with them.
Okay. I'm sorry. You're right with him. What?
In protecting our country.
But that's not.
What is it? That's not the issue.
No, first of all, this has nothing to do with protecting the country. No, that's not what his argument is. Yeah. You try to flip the argument. He said, I'm gonna focus on number two. What Al Dershowitz said is that if Donald Trump says that my re-election or the re-election of any president, I can cast any decision that I make, that if it benefits me personally in my re-election, I can cast that as being in the national interest. Agree or disagree?
I disagree.
So what the hell? What are his folks doing? The reality is Donald Trump wanted Ukraine to investigate his political rival to benefit him. Scott, what's crazy about this, DOJ could have, but he didn't ask the Department of Justice.
Well, no, but
he wanted Ukraine to, and then he said,
publicly.
Y'all got to announce it publicly.
That's right, publicly, about Biden and his son. The false narrative and the false comparative that Dershowitz expounds on here is laughable. If Donald Trump didn't do that, though, Donald Trump did not say, I need you to take care of corruption. He couldn't say that because that wasn't what he was thinking. He was thinking about the Bidens. And by the way, DOD, 3 to 4 months before, had signed off and cleared Ukraine, having met all the requirements and obligations to allow this money to go forward based on their anti-corruption efforts. Every time Donald Trump has spoken about Ukraine and corruption, which he could say, and it would be acceptable vis-a-vis giving up the money or letting the money go to Ukraine, but every time he's talked gratuitously, voluntarily, in the conversation or in writing or in subsequent press conferences, it has always been about the Bidens, his potential political enemy or adversary. That is the quid pro quo. That is wrong, and that's illegal, and that's why he ought to be impeached.
What's laughable to me, Mustafa, is to watch Republicans today all of a sudden, again, John Bolton is a traitor, a turncoat. We shouldn't hear from him. Yep. Okay, and now the White House is even threatening him. You can't release the book. Okay, you can't just say you can't release the book. Right. I mean, he submitted the book to go through the National Security Council process to vet, to ensure that there were not any secrets. Donald Trump, in his mind, says, oh, because you actually had conversations with me and you know how I feel about foreign leaders, you can't talk. No, there are no laws that say that.
Right, exactly. You know, this is not the top security issue that they're talking about, and it's just foolishness. I mean, what they're trying to do is just to confuse folks, to muddy the water, so that they can then get to the vote and be able to move forward. And you know, I've had some respect for the counsel before who came before the Senate, Dershowitz, but you know, I don't know if he was having a low blood sugar moment or what is going on with him, because the mess that they've been sharing is ridiculous. And you know, it's ridiculous also when folks come on TV, when they come on shows, and they try and, you know, sort of twist the facts. The president,
not sort of.
Yeah, the president made a choice.
They twist them.
He made a choice to pick up the phone and to, you know, make the call, and for him to have it, as was said, to be about Biden. And here's the thing. If he was serious about helping Ukraine, to better protect themselves from Russia, then they would have expedited the funds there. And, they decided not to do that. So for folks to say this is about a national security issue or a security issue, it doesn't make sense. It's not adding up. 1 + 1 is not becoming 2 for them.
So, Deontay, why are they so scared of Bolton? Why not have him testify? I mean, he literally has written in a book, and he obviously was in a position to know that Donald Trump absolutely tried to coerce Ukraine and withheld congressionally approved funds in order and saying, I will release it as long as you announce an investigation of the Bidens.
Someone that was fired, resigned, or what have you, why would, if one of your staff, you fired one of your staff, okay, and you were getting ready to testify about something that happened with your organization, and it was a bad fire or disagreement or what have you, what do you think they're going to, what do you think is going to happen during that hearing?
I'm sorry, what do you mean?
What's going to happen during that hearing?
So are you saying that he's lying?
He could lie. He could.
No, but so what you're saying is that John Bolton, if called to testify, is going to be sworn testimony.
This is all hypothetical now.
No. Actually,
yes.
no, it's not hypothetical. If John Bolton,
well, he hasn't done
if
it
John
yet, so
Bolton
it's
is called,
hypothetical.
he will be sworn under the threat of perjury. So what you're saying is that John Bolton is going to risk lying before Congress and risk his law degree and risk all of that to lie because he got fired.
Have you never seen anyone lie before Congress?
Oh, no. And I've seen him. And Roger Stone got convicted.
Right.
He lied on behalf of your guy Trump, and then he got convicted in the federal court in Florida. Oliver North, Republican, lied in front of Congress, got convicted, later got overturned. I mean, I can show you.
John Bolton also is capable.
No.
Lying.
But you're somehow suggesting that because he got fired, that means he's going to lie.
I mean, it's the same process.
So very simple. Should he testify?
You get fired.
Should he testify? Well, but here's the deal, though.
You get fired. You write a book to make some money, and then you lie.
No, actually, everybody who got fired by Trump hasn't written a book.
Right.
I mean, let's just be honest. Trump has fired a whole bunch of people.
Correct.
And he's hired a bunch of people who later call incompetent. But maybe the person that's incompetent is the person who hired him. But again, no, that's what you're dealing with here. And so the question still is, Bolton has said this here. Do you not want to hear him?
I honestly don't want to see the hearings at all.
Why?
Because it's
Why?
It's a complete presidential harassment. That's the first thing.
How's it harassment?
Presidential harassment.
How?
Nancy Pelosi, Chuck Schumer,
What about him?
Maxine Waters, and the list goes on. When the president was sworn into office, they said that we were going to impeach this president.
Actually, all the people you named didn't say that. Right. Now, Congresswoman Maxine Waters, Congressman Al Green did, but now Schumer didn't say that, or Pelosi didn't say it, so don't put words in their mouth. It didn't happen. But I'm asking you again, what Trump did is, should he have used the power of the presidency to withhold aid to Ukraine? Is that right or wrong?
That's wrong.
That's wrong. Okay. Is it impeachable?
No.
Why not? So what is it then? So what you're saying is Congress, which has the authority to regulate these things, they should blow it off?
It may not be ethically right, but it's not impeachable.
No, I'm sorry, it's not ethically right? So it's not ethically right. It's
not ethically right to take a president down a witch hunt. It's not ethically right to...
Hold on. What's a witch hunt?
It's a witch hunt to continue.
No, what's a witch hunt?
Continue. This is all political gain. It's political gain.
Here's the question. Did he do this? Did he do it?
He should not have done the call.
No. Did he do it?
He should not have done the call.
No. First of all, he shouldn't have done the call, or he should not have asked on the call for them to investigate political rival. There's nothing wrong with making a call. Presidents talk to other presidents.
But on the call, he shouldn't have done the call. But on the call, he did not break a law. He did not.
I'm sorry. The Constitution. Let me be real clear. The Constitution.
He didn't say.
I'm sorry. Let's be real clear. Deontay.
He didn't say for me. He didn't say for me.
Deontay. The Constitution does not require for a law to be broken in order for a president to be impeached. Now, your boy Dershowitz said that 20 years ago. Now he's changed his opinion.
Right.
So y'all can make up your mind which one is it now. But the question still again is, did Donald Trump ask the president of Ukraine to investigate the Bidens, and did he in turn tell his people, we're going to withhold the aid from them until they do? Yes or no?
Yes.
Is that wrong?
No.
It's not wrong.
No.
It's not wrong. So what? So what is it? Just we should do it? We should let him do whatever he wants to do?
The purpose of him doing it was not personal gain.
How so?
Is everyone
if it
says,
wasn't
he was
personal gain, if you're asking them to investigate your political rival, well, then whose gain is it for?
It's for the country.
How?
It's for the country.
No. How? What?
If Obama,
What was the good? Nice try.
If Obama asked,
hold up, Deontay. Nice try.
Not even Obama.
Deontay. Hold up, Deontay. Nice try. Senator Ted Cruz and Senator Lindsey Graham. Today, Senator Lindsey Graham and Senator Ted Cruz literally posed that question today in the impeachment trial. Congressman Adam Schiff stood up and said, yes, and if President Obama had called for the investigation of Mitt Romney or his children, and where it would benefit him, that would be wrong and would be impeachable. Your question has been answered.
But it wouldn't do it.
One of the things, this whole executive privilege piece, we got to remember, you can't use it as a sword and a shield. So you can't use it to prevent illegal conduct or to protect yourself.
And the Supreme Court actually said that in the case of Nixon, which was cited today, that a president, if that person is involved in wrongdoing, cannot use executive privilege to cover up wrongdoing.
So last point I'm going to make is this. Where's the crime? You don't need it to be a crime, but if you read the abuse of power article of impeachment, it lays out a crime. It just doesn't call it bribery, but it lays out bad and criminal conduct. And so this whole argument about that's not a crime and it's not impeachable, it is a crime. They just called it abuse of power. And so we have to be really careful to sort through these arguments, these specious arguments the GOP is making, because every time they make one, there is either case law or something that corroborates the falsity of what their arguments are. You can't really get around it. And so, it'll be interesting to see. The Senate is on trial. Their morality is on trial. Their righteousness in the Constitution is on trial. If they don't call witnesses with a straight face, I'll be honest with you, that strengthens the possibility or the probability of a Democratic president winning. I believe that because you got to walk away from the independents and the moderate Republicans, and you're not going to get the Democrat.
Mustafa, I'm just trying to understand how you can do wrong, but then say, oh, you should be held accountable, when the only provision that is provided in the U.S. Constitution, you know that document the Republicans say they love, the party of law and order, the only provision to hold a president accountable for his action is impeachment. It's right there in the Constitution. The framers put it in there for that very reason.
This is privilege. This is privilege playing out. When someone tells you that this man doesn't have, that he can do whatever he wants. And it's very disheartening for folks not to live up to their responsibilities in the Senate. Thank goodness that the House did. And here's the other thing. Bolton used to be the poster child for conservatism. So for folks to say that they don't trust him now is really interesting.
Real interesting.
And that's the reason we need to let him testify.
Well, first of all, there's going to be a vote on Friday as whether or not to allow witnesses. And then Republicans want to end this as quickly as possible. The State of the Union address is next Tuesday. The question is, do they have the votes? As of last night, Mitch McConnell said he did not have the votes necessary to stop witnesses. So we'll see what takes place over the next 48 hours. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment. Join Dr. Jackie Hood Martin as she engages others to think like a leader. Are you looking to enhance your leadership or that of your team in 2020? You can join her newest online course, the Mastermind Group, How Successful People Think. She will be your guide as you learn timeless leadership principles to apply to daily living. The offer expires February 28th, so register at www.livetolead.com/Leesburg. That's livetolead.com/Leesburg. Now back to your Roland Martin Unfiltered video. You want to check out Roland Martin Unfiltered? YouTube.com/Roland S. Martin. And subscribe to our YouTube channel. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. It's Roland Martin Unfiltered. See that name right there? Roland Martin Unfiltered. Like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Roland S. Martin. And don't forget to turn on your notifications so when we go live, you'll know it.